Hello and welcome to the Session 15 vlog for Dragon Age Ascension, aka Dragon Age Season 3. Where you guys want to start?
Beginning?
Sure.
Yeah. Let's
The
see.
Awakened Darkspawn, we meet with them.
Yeah, no, that's really interesting, especially the dynamic between people's preconceived notions with Darkspawn and how they're going to come to the surface. Oh, and I really liked how they immediately were like so angry. How you doing?
Yeah, I mean, frankly, I knew that there was going to be some fallout as soon as I introduced this plot element to Hark, and I love it. It's great. I love it. So yeah, it's interesting because Daretham is not foolish enough to expect like forgiveness or anything like that. He knows what he's done, and he saw the wrong in it before, but he thought he was justified, and now he's realized that he's not. So, or at least he didn't think he was justified, but he thought this is all I can do. And now that he's not, now that he's fully saying he's not even trying to repent because he doesn't necessarily think he can. He thinks like all I can do is just keep moving forward, basically. So yeah, then that'll be interesting because I actually have been wanting to have a conversation with Darren for a little bit now, and a lot of stuff has come up about that whole thing. So it's gonna be a interesting conversation.
I do have to say, it seems that we're gonna have a little bit. When we got to mention the side duels have also the similar way of reviving as the archdemons. I'm like, are we all gonna become Grey Wardens now just so we can kill these guys?
No, that's just a problem we outsource.
Yeah.
It ends in a TPK as we all just kill ourselves to kill the side area.
We might not even need the Wardens because the architect said that the dragonflies and chakra abilities were there back in ancient Tavine.
I mean, there's only one known way of killing an archdemon too. There could be more. So
Yeah.
So it's possible we might find something at the Chakra Isles that would be like you could kill like an old god or Sidereal or whatever as a
Without dying, or maybe without. Maybe
Yeah, no, it'd be
Not allergies. Eat them Snickers. Sorry.
By that same vein, what do you guys think of the journal from Sethius?
interesting.
makes me feel way better about the move I played at the end of session 14.
yeah,
I seem
no.
to be afraid of that book for some reason.
Narratively, it makes sense that that Pyrus would be the book he's talking about. It could be another book, but narratively, it makes sense because like
Question-
the house
Question
story.
is why. The question is why.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Why do they have?
Complete. So we can't
Oh.
either.
Well, one other thought could be that maybe the ritual to enter the Fade is in Pyrus.
Mm.
And they would want that destroyed?
Destroyed, or maybe they. Oh,
could
maybe it could be a
trying
thing
to-
where
They're trying to re-enter the Fade permanently again because they're calling to the remaining high dragons.
Or they used
Sacrifices.
blood magic to break people out. It could just be, because they know blood magic really well, but maybe
Well, they
blood
talked
magic.
about sending, and that's what they wanted to do the first time.
can send them. Oh, actually, another thing. Maybe we can use a ritual in the book to lock them up, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or like lock them in the Fade or something like that.
We'll see. I
Or
guess
since blood magic got them in, maybe blood magic will destroy what they've become.
Yeah. Could be another thing.
Unfortunately, yeah, but
If that is true, and you discover that Pyrus has a ritual within him that allows you to seal them with blood magic, and it requires the 5 of you to cast blood magic, would you do it to
Yes.
save the world?
yes. Fuck yeah.
That one
Yes.
time, yes.
No.
Yeah, no,
I would imagine so.
No.
yeah, because Pasha's already in deep trouble, and
The world is doomed.
I will stand on the moral high ground.
As my world turns around me, I
Farewell, everyone. Farewell.
I will go down with this ship. And I'm...
We're just gonna have to
looking
convince
forward-
Basho. We're just
It's like you can sink. I'm fine.
This is gonna be like Ash of the Gods. Like 12 of them like stab themselves to save the world. Only one didn't make it. The world is still fucked up because of that one guy. Because he got misfortune.
I also love how as soon as you asked and we all knew what was going to happen, like 3 of us instantly said yes, and Russo was like, "I mean, yeah, if we have to," and then Pasha was like, "No."
I will say, if there is another option other than the blood magic, he's gonna vie for that instead.
Oh yeah, same here. I would do the same thing.
Yeah. Daretham doesn't really care. He's going to go for whichever option is pretty much guaranteed to succeed. So if it's blood magic, he would go for that. But if there's another option, he would go for that too. He has no real bias towards blood magic either way, as I've said.
Hey Hark, I have a question for you because you asked us. I think around the time when the side rules were revealed, which side drill would you go up against as a character / player?
Mhm.
I don't think
I
you
would
want
like
to
to know
answer that.
that I think would be paired up with each person.
Yeah.
Like, us to answer that to you right now.
I've got my guess. How right I am.
I would like to know what you guys think. If you were to pair your character with one of the Siderials, which Siderial do you think you'd be paired up with? We have the Forge, right, which is the muscular blacksmithy guy. We have the Augur, which is the Foresight woman. We have the Madman of Chaos, and you already know what his stick is. Well, of course, we have Corypheus, the Conductor of Silence, and then we have the Appraiser of Slavery, which was implied to be the Green Lyrium.
Yeah.
He's the Green Lyrium guy. The Appraiser of Slavery is implied to be the one that is in control of the mutated Darkspawn.
Yeah.
So I got a question. Do we want to all give our theories about like who is paired up with who for everyone, or do we want to just say which one we think our character's paired up with?
I'd say we'll just say which one we think.
Okay. My thought is it could be 2, I'd say. Actually, it could be one of 3. I think Sethius makes the most sense because he's my master directly. But beyond that, like the teleportation, the most elusive, like Daretham's not necessarily elusive sort of as a character, so personality-wise, that's not fully a match. Really, it's backstory that matches there. But I think the other 2 that could make more sense is the Augur or the Madman. The Madman in the sense that Daretham had a very much kind of a madness period, where he was doing crazy things, and he has a hallucination, he does illusions kind of thing. But the Augur can see the future, and Daretham is 1,300 years old. He's very much around time and the past and that kind of stuff. So I think personality-wise, probably the Augur makes the most sense. While the Augur sees the future, Daretham has a lot of experience with knowledge from the past. So yeah, backstory-wise, probably Sethius. Personality-wise, probably the Augur, or in terms of like thematic stuff-wise, probably the Madman.
I mean, Tyrion, like, not really pair, but more like a pair of opposing is I mean, it's kind of obvious. The Appraiser of Slavery. I mean,
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
sort of in me, like when you said
Yeah.
like chainsaw, it's like that's definitely Tyrion's opposite, and he's definitely gonna go fight the guy, and especially
Not to mention that he's also intelligent and does experiments and stuff, sort of in a scientific,
experiments on people.
doctor-esque way.
Yeah, he experiments on people turning like these darks into mutations. Like, no, you're here. I'm sorry, but that's no bueno. You can't experiment on people unless you've given your choice. And I imagine he's not the type of guy where he'll accept. He'll just take them and just do what he wants.
Consent? So, what's that?
He's definitely gonna oppose that guy. So I think those T and the Appraiser is definitely the best pair up in Tyrion, in my and Tyrion's view.
Gosh, I'm having trouble here, but I was thinking maybe the Augur because of the foresight and, having more of like a battle of wits. Either that or the Appraiser of Slaves because, though he's been doing lyrium experiments, it'd be interesting to, have a dichotomy between what type of experiments there are. I don't think the Forge Rite of Fire because they're a weapons master, and I don't really think that Leon's been doing much weapons research. The Conductor of Silence, I mean, I don't really think that maybe, but, maybe blood magic face off, but yeah, I
So
think
far, the
maybe.
most blood magic in person is the Madman so far.
Oh, interesting. Because yeah, the sort of no, that'd be interesting. The Madman of Zazakiel would be an interesting pick for Leon because he's got a lot of self-doubt. And
And,
the blood
also,
magic.
and I think also probably Leon has a little bit of a small vendetta since technically the Madman did technically kill
Garrison.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
So if you want to use the background stuff, you already got motivation.
Yeah,
I
no,
know he
that's
doesn't like
true.
Garrison. He would have liked him dead, but still not dead in that way. So.
Yeah.
oh my god, imagine if it would have been Nazim.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah,
Oh, he
That
would
would have
definitely.
been so good.
man.
Hart,
I
could we
think-
go back and tell Kevin that the Templar is going to die so he can give us the most drama-filled death? Could we do that? Okay. Back in time, do that?
Because my brain goes to the immediate. Well, one of them's a chick, and Pasha's a chick.
Right, that's true. She's the girl, so of course the chick fight. There you go.
Like, just having a slap fight, someone just. I would
get
like the
Livy in
guys
there,
on the
too.
sidelines with popcorn, like, yes, this is great. Here's. I feel this might be me being a bit paranoid right now, but I feel like there are hints in the pictures of all of the Magisters, because I've noted that in 3 of them there are stars, and then in the slave guy there isn't. There are clouds in 2 of them. There's a repetition of birds, and I'm like,
And then Corypheus is Corypheus.
my brain says this is a hint. This will tell me something, but I'm like, no, I'm not getting anything. I think I might be overthinking this.
Well, I mean, if we're going to go by that logic, the Forge Rite has fire on him, and what has Rousseau been most associated with in terms of, like, who
Well,
his son is?
If we're gonna get to my guess, there's only one straight answer: the Forge Ray of Fire, because he has a hammer. It's time for the hammer off of the sentry.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like the 2 who we're pretty locked in on are Tyrion and Rousseau,
If it
because
wasn't
Fraser
for the
Renderall and Forge Rite of
Right.
Fire.
I feel like the only other one that would make sense would be the one in control of the mutated Darkspawn.
And that seems like it's Tyrion's. So it's really for Pasha, Leon, and me who are like the ones who we're not quite sure on.
I'd just like you pointed out, the Madman of Zazakiel is chained. Madman of Zazakiel? I think I've gotten that confused. The Madman of Chaos, he's chained, and Tyrion being an ex-slave.
Yeah. And that also comes to the point of, like, here's the other thing with the Madman because sort of the similarities is Tyrion gets some nightmares of Amryn. I think I've spelled that out quite a couple of times in the sessions. But not and he did go mad a couple of times. I mean, remember when Darren came after him, or when Kenna came, like, he went crazy. So it's
Well, I feel like it's more of Tyrion's existential crisis of, like, slave masters.
Yeah.
That would make the
Yeah.
remake way more sense than that.
Yeah, but I think it's more the appraiser because of his beliefs. He is the
The-
guy who believes in freedom and, like, giving the option to the person and not forcing them into, like, hey, I'm going to use it as an experiment for like this, and I'm not even going to give you the option. I'm just going to force it. That's not Tyrion. Tyrion will, if he needs to, ask them. He'll ask consent, and I don't think that's what the appraiser is. That type of guy, or maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Who knows?
The other thing, speaking about the fact that the man has chains, a lot of Daretham's story has been unwillingly shackled to chaotic forces, like through the archdemons. He's not been willingly shackled to these people. So if we're going by that logic, then, and I already said the Madman kind of makes sense. So that could be another reason to connect those 2 together.
Well, yeah. Well, anyway, we'll see. Well, we can set that on the table. I think Hark has a pretty good idea now.
Twisted. We were really supposed to kill the architect. He's been in hiding this whole time.
Dun dun dun.
This has been a season 1 plot twist in the making.
Well, he's still alive. So anyway,
Yeah, why fight 5 when you could fight 6?
And then the Watchman just shows up and is like, I'm just going to join this TPK party. So hi, guys.
I'm here to help you out. let's bring up some other the roles. So I want if you guys could, let's sort of the next part would technically be the dragon fight, but I think we want to go to the other role plays that happened.
Are we going to talk about journals at all, or is everyone pretty okay on that?
Journals were super
That was
cool.
very interesting. Those were very interesting. I felt like I was the most basic one because I'm so thanked to my core, but it's like that's what Tyrion would do.
No, like it makes sense how every person did their journal. Like initially, I wasn't sure what I was going to do. I thought maybe I could talk to Verania again, but I wasn't quite sure. And then I just happened upon the idea of, you know what? I'm not actually going to make this dialogue based. I'm just going to make this fully visual based, which I think was a good choice.
There was one opposite scene I had planned for the next journal, but because it was right after the whole blood mage reveal, I felt the one I'd wanted to do wasn't realistic, so I came up with mine on the spot.
Yeah.
Originally, what I wanted to do was like a similar nightmare sequence to what Dartham had in his journal long ago, but it was going to basically be like Russo's mother coming at him.
Ooh. Interesting.
Yeah.
I actually do want to do like I don't know if we have another challenge, but I think a good one is probably around the time we go after Amber, and I think the good one for turn is going to be like, yep, nightmare.
It's so easy to do it because the fate is a thing. So like it's a legit thing that demons would do. It's
And
very
that's
easy.
Another thing, I didn't want mine to copy a lot of what's been happening with other people's journals.
Yeah. No, that's a struggle. That's the struggle.
Oh, I liked how Pasha felt betrayed right after being stabbed, and then her lightning bolt is because it's a physical mark of blood magic done upon her. And
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, the white scar.
What do you guys think about the dragonflies? The jeweled dragonflies.
Finally, an answer.
yeah,
It's like
We figured they came from the old god.
Souls of the old
I-
gods.
I
Souls
think
of the old gods.
I think
I
yeah,
think they are the real gods.
Yeah.
yeah.
well,
it's
I
sort of
think.
function.
Well, sorry. Because they were saying the architect was saying that there was a split. There was a something done upon them to transform them. So maybe it's a fraction of their power. So like how they get corrupted, their base instincts and their I guess their tainted emotions took over their body, while their more good side, or their dragon powers, so to speak, were split off of them, as it had nowhere left to inhabit in the body in order to get the taint to work.
Yeah.
So
but-
I guess that brings up the question: do you get a set of 7 per old god, considering they all went into the city?
I think so. That's why I said, is there 2 more and we don't know about them? So that's interesting. Who are they?
Yeah,
now?
that's
Yeah,
the,
where are
last
the other?
part.
Where are
Because
the
there's
other
only 5 of
two?
us.
Sidereals were talking about ascending, and I assume that we're ascending too, considering we've taken old god powers.
I
So
definitely.
they're calling to the old god that's left to get it.
I think I think we had this theory on, but just to like kind of bring it back up, I think we're gonna get a choice in the end where we have the option to ascend as the old gods, either choose to ascend as them or be as we are in the state we go to the end game. That's I think that's a definite tinfoil hat theory, because if we get the powers of the dragons and they seem to be similar to the old gods as we're getting improved, I think we might give this just say, yep, you have the choice. You want to ascend and become an old god, or do you want a new god then, or do you want to continue as you are and just be a normal person as you are with these new powers?
If I was Angie
Yeah.
Chantry as a character, I 100% ascend just to say, haha, see, I'm real, fuck your maker.
That's what we all do it to spite the Chantry.
Despite the
In the
chantry.
middle of a speech, and we just descend from the heavens like we have arrived.
We are actual gods
Worship
now.
us.
Dragon fight.
Dragon fight.
That was a long one.
I was gonna say, like, the Guardians, the Penta'viv Guardians seem to be really powerful. They can control the elements, but you guys can become gods.
Yeah.
So, like,
They're forces of nature. We are nature.
Just
And then the next
mean,
Athenian.
I am a god. I am a god.
We control the elements of nature. Yes, and we're gods.
Hello, my name is God, also known as God. Hi, how are you doing?
Lowercase though.
Oh yeah.
Okay, G. So Dragon Fight.
Dragon Fight, that was fun. That was a really fun fight.
Yeah. I
Interesting.
enjoyed how we sort of separated into our like groups and we worked really well together.
Yeah.
That was a straight up like high dragon, like textbook high dragon stat wise. So I don't know
Ooh.
what level you guys are, but you guys took down
Yeah,
a
we're
high
level.
dragon. Granted, with 3 NPCs, but still.
Yeah. I mean, Razakale was mostly just doing a few extra points of damage. I think Balm did the most out of all the NPCs to help, plus Rosie was
Right.
us
And Rosie was just assisting. Like,
falling.
she didn't actually do any damage.
I'd say it was probably a good like 80% just us.
That's a
Yeah.
dire enemy. That's like a pretty strong enemy to beat.
Yeah, no, that dragon would have wrecked us if Rosie didn't catch us, because there were a number of times where people would die.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's really interesting how like when they first started, we needed a little bit to ramp up, but like once all of my debuffs were fully online, once all the buffs were online and etc., like suddenly all of that extra damage, like Pasha had a 26 defense or something at one point.
Yeah, ridiculous.
And I was penalizing the dragon to have like -3 or something to all attack, -4 or something to all attacks.
And then at one point, we got it up to +5 to attack on the dragon.
Yeah. So it really synergized well with the buffs and the collective debuffs. And then just basically to make the rogue and warriors OP as fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
We all picked our rules and we've stuck to it level wise since the beginning of the campaign, and it's showing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, as you level up in the game, as you get to late level, you do improve, and especially if you play your character sort of decently well enough, you then see the effects. We definitely don't have like an output supremely powerful damage party because we don't have like lots of massive damage. You only have like single target massive damages, but that's been helping out a lot against the dragons. So
Yeah.
we've survived. I still find it funny how well, every time the dragon tries to buff us away, some of us will pull.
We just jump back.
That one felt like it went. I don't know if it did, but felt like it went quicker than the one we did with Cedric and Andrea.
It did, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty much simple because one, we're playing in a different landscape. Like it wasn't like a normal. It was like vertical, so we had lots of like other stuff we had to consider. That's one. I just think it was just a simple like normal battle, like no confusions.
Yeah. Not to mention
Yeah.
that in the old High Dragon fight, we had like 7 players plus like all the NPCs in the entirety of Thetis ever. So
it was a cluster battle. That one.
Yeah.
But this one was, it was what it is. And Hark, I will say it was definitely a challenge. I got hit a lot in that game. I got to the lowest I got as in terms of like out of like since I can talk now was 19 hit points. That was the lowest I reached.
Dang.
I
One more round of attacks on that. That probably would have done it.
might as well be the rogue tank because I was taking a lot of damage.
Yeah, I'm glad I was able to twin spell heals on you twice.
Yeah, that was really clutch.
I even had a pop-up potion of healing to like help me out. So that was in my book. That's like that was a challenging, challenging fight. So in my book, that's good.
Yeah. Also, I'm sorry, Pasha. I feel like you were about to do something, and then I just went berserk.
And I got the nice scene with Pasha. As soon as you were like, she's berserk, in my brain it was like, if I get the killing blow, I'ma tear this dragon's throat out.
Yeah, and it happened.
One thing I wanted to do in that fight, but I didn't get to, is I was trying to get 6 chakra points just to go dragon on dragon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't you? Oh yeah, right. Because you want to talk about that? What you sent me, or
In the fight, me and Skull chatted like, "Hey, would you mind if I take like X amount of points? So if I get a stunt, I could do this." And they was like, "It's fine," but the dragon's about dead. I was just like, "Okay, whatever."
like, because it got to the point where it's like, I think we were doing so much damage, like even like to the point where we reached the blood. It was like, yeah, like if it's just gonna be a waste. I don't want you to feel disappointed if you want to turn dragon mode.
There were some references to the Black King today. and I am planning on asking Mecha to come back to guest as the Black King.
Ooh.
Nice.
Probably not next session, but a future session, which is why I needed to know where you guys wanted to go physically so I can plan for that and find out when Mecha's available. So hopefully that will be interesting.
Understandable.
The other thing to look forward to is next week. I don't know how familiar you are with these from recent campaigns, but next week is going to be our confessional episode, where... Do you guys know what I mean by the confessional episode?
I know exactly what Mark means.
No, I am confused.
I stopped watching around Dragon Age Season 2, so no, this is new to me.
You know how in reality shows, like, they have confessionals?
No.
Where, you know, just... Like when... In most reality shows, they have this thing where the contestant or whatever is talking directly at the camera.
Okay.
Like, oh, you know, that Daretham, he's such a pain in the bee. Like, you know, I think blah, 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 blah.
It's like in season 2, they did it for their in-person session. So you got bits of like Andrea being like, haha, I pranked Kenna, or at the end, Cedric being like, you know, I told him about this. Maybe they'll listen to me next time.
Okay, we're good.
The idea is sprinkled throughout, you guys will, as we go to this session, like, take notes on things that you might want to do a confessional on for that scene. Because there's going to be some pretty interesting stuff, because there's the whole Violetta date scene with...
I was hoping we were going to get that scene at the offset.
Yeah, there's going to be like the Violetta and Rousseau scene. If there's specific characters you want to roleplay that could open up interesting confessional stuff, that would be really interesting.
I'm definitely gonna have a conversation with Darren, and if Rosie has a conversation with Leon, then
yeah, it'd be nice.
Everybody's decided at the halfway point. We're just gonna start our romances and just go with it.
Some great roleplay scenes from Pasha, Leon, and Russo on their own moments. That was glorious.
Callista beat me in that scene with Sam so bad. Like, I was ready.
And then you rebounded with Balin, man. That was quite great. That was
I wasn't congested because I could hear my voice like gurgling while I was trying.
You were croaking. I was like, I was like, are you acting or just actually emotional?
I was helping my dad move lumber at his house last weekend, so I got congestion, and that's why my voice has been fluctuating in and out.
Got it. It worked then. It really worked for the scene.
Yeah, Tommy, like, I'm comparing that scene that you did with Balin with the scene that you did for your audition, for your interview, and it's just worlds different. Worlds different.
I just love the
moment. That one, I don't know if it caught on camera.
Yeah. And just the moment when Rousseau jumped off and turned into a dragon, like... Yeah.
Oh, I really like the scene with Pasha as, Leon was trying to think of, you know, like, things he could do to save this, but Pasha's like, no, I have to accept this. This has been done. There's nothing we can do. And, it's watching your friend die in front of you, and Pasha is accepting of that and saying, well, this is going to happen. And though it's sad, I am okay with this. And, you know, it's putting an expiration date on interactions. And
I do have a follow-up to that for Callista, and the answer can be no, I won't tell you. But did this session give away which list is basically the one that won when we talked earlier?
No. There's still stuff to play for. That's what I'm going to say.
Okay.
Then do you want to answer which way is in being inclined towards?
She's slightly more inclined towards Kunari than she is Talvashoth. Like, on the, like, Talvashoth's over here, like, here's Kunari, like, here's the middle. She's, like, over there somewhere. Like, she's, like, halfway, maybe, like, a third of the way between kind of neutral and Kunari. And I think part of that is just because she hasn't gotten a chance to talk to Daretham, Tyrion, and Rousseau on why did you do this? Why have you kind of consigned me to this fate?
I mean,
Go ahead.
I was saying that can be a conversation definitely happen between each of us, either separately or to like some of us together. I know that
Yeah.
I had an idea of me and
And
him
my-
like go up to Pasha and tell her, because we both knew this from the
Yeah.
get go.
I think it'd be really fun to have like maybe all four of us talk together and like talking about what happened with Pasha, because I know for a fact, like hearing everything Pasha was saying to Tyrion, Daretham has some thoughts. Daretham has some thoughts.
Leon?
Leon, you mean not Tyrion? Because
And I think all of those conversations will open it up well for confessionals.
Yep.
And I think
like really well for confessionals.
maybe
that
what we
next
could do next session, everyone except Pasha just join up and say, all right, how are we going to call him Pasha? If Leon wants to bring that up, of course. If Leon wants to bring that up, it's like not a forced.
Yeah,
the
no.
thing is, unless Leon brings it up, like if Leon brings it up to Daretham or something, and then Daretham hears about it, he's gonna go talk to Pasha, and then she's probably gonna be like, "I want to talk to all three of you at once." So then that'll like chain
I would
into.
imagine Leon will bring up the Tyrion because he's like worried because
Yeah.
they're in the same bunkmate.
Yeah. Oh,
And either
it'd be
way,
nice
it
to
would work
have
out. So yeah.
be nice to have a philosophy night where we all, all the characters get together and then do the philosophy, because
The great philosophy debate. Oh my god, that would be awesome! Like all five of us just role playing around this whole
Yeah.
idea.
because Calista has Pasha's philosophy down to a T. So, and then we can all play off of that. Yeah.
I will
Yeah.
sort of bring up. There's actually so I did the Rosie scene. So because we had some time, I was like, all right, because I wanted to get this out of the way, so we don't have to do a whole session, another session, and like maybe it might expand. Because it was actually thanks to Theoben. If I didn't have this conversation with Theoben, I don't think I would have talked much with Rosie, other than the whole with Leon. But I also wanted to bring up, like, listen, I'm a doctor. I'm here to help out. I'm here to help out with any problems. I know I have maybe have been a friend with the person who lied to you, but like I need to watch out for your welfare also. So, and I'm kind of sad I didn't catch that like in the early sessions when she did have those headaches. I just feel bad for that. So.
Yeah, no, I like how you approach that, but some of the things where I'm like, as Leanna was like, oh no, you shouldn't say that. No.
I have to. Look,
No, like it was.
I have to say, Leon's squeaming is like my favorite part of his character, just like the overreaction.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't see that. That was too mentioned in roleplay.
No,
I just felt it was important.
It was a good approach to Rosie, but just thinking about how Leon would have if he would have heard the conversation, the amount of mental anguish.
The only mistake I did was sort of was the whole heartache thing where I said like my mother, which is true. I was heartbroken when my mother died, but I also sort of said my father when he left us, and that would have been a much more bigger impact. But I was like, I forgot about that in the moment. I was like, well, fuck.
I just realized this. But both me and Tyrion have an elven father that ran away.
yeah.
It's the same guy.
He's ditched on 2 marriages.
Then the quest just becomes to track him down. He's somehow done that to all of us.
I mean, I'm expecting.
That would make sense considering how Corin and Tyrion are the same name almost.
I mean, I'm expecting I'm definitely expecting a conversation with Russo with Tyrion due to the whole Leon situation. I don't know if it's gonna be next session or after.
Another thing I just realized is we haven't really been interacting with Nathan much at all. Like Rosie's been getting a lot of recent stuff, and I obviously have some stuff with Balm, Valor, etc. But
People have been getting cycles, is what I've noticed. Like Nathan got a lot really early on, then we've had Rosie for a little while. Now it feels like we're gonna focus on like Nathan and Darren a little bit, and then Bob's gonna be with us most of the rest of the end game.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the one thing I thought of with Nathan is actually talking about Balm, me, and Nathan, because Nathan, I think, very much has his father's outlook, like you said, Hart, and it could be really interesting for Daretham to just kind of say, hey, me and Balm exist, and this is not cohesive with your father's outlook. So just to kind of, similar to Leon, give that third perspective of just like, maybe your father isn't right, but also he may not be wrong. So, a
Oh,
good
and
way
also
to
like
Yeah, I would love that.
I would love to see the Nathan of Nathan hasn't heard anything about what went down in the deep roads, and then being like, oh hey, and then people being like, oh, you haven't heard, the
Leon's a blood mage.
Why am I imagining right now King Max, King actually is just gonna come, he's gonna come with Leo, then they're just gonna come here. Their weapons are drawn out. Where are the Darkspawn? Where are the damn Darkspawn?
I also
They-
very much decided, you know what? I'm not gonna be the dick who like reveals the awakened to a circus. So I was just like, yeah, it's just the two of us. We're the only ones.
I did like that line. Just we're cousins. We're so fine.
Then half cousins, twice removed via an aunt or something.